how we deal with depression, not only as a country, but as a species, needs to change. Now, I'm sorry I'm making another video about this, but my past two videos have talked about the topic of depression, anxiety, and the feedback that I have gotten is very heartwarming and very supportive of everyone going through a time such as this. And I'm actually a little disappointed that YouTubers who have an audience don't really talk about this topic all too much, and when they do, they kind of make it about themselves. So I'm going to throw some stats at you. 1 in 10 Americans at some point have depression. Over 80% of those people who have depression do not receive help, and that's staggering to me. Now, of course, because we're a gaming channel, we're going to try and relate it to people who play video games, but let's not try and segregate those. You know, everybody's a human being at the end of the day. I'm moving back onto the YouTubers who I think should say something about this. I had a lot of comments saying I was very brave to release the video that I did, and that they wish more YouTubers would talk about this topic. Honestly, I don't think I'm brave to reveal what I was going through. It was really just a topic that I care heavily about, and I know personally a lot of people do suffer with this kind of stuff. So I was kind of acting as a voice for the few people who might be going through this kind of thing. But it turns out it wasn't just a few people. This is bigger than I thought it was. What happened when I released the mental health video was kind of overwhelming in a way. I put my Discord server, and if you don't know what a Discord server is, it's almost like a TeamSpeak server. And I offered people who were going through a tough time to come and speak to me directly. And almost every single one of those people said that they have never told anyone this before. And I spent roughly about 4 hours just talking to people who I'd never met, and I would give them advice. It was very tiring, but at the end of the day, you do what you need to do, and this is almost like my purpose in a way. I might feel like crap 90% of the time, but if I can make some people feel less crap, then I've done my job. And the Discord server is still going to be there. If you want to join and speak to me directly, or speak to any member of the community, by all means, feel free. But moving on to what I do want to discuss, and this is for the people who live in the United Kingdom or England. If you are suffering from mental health issues and you're afraid to get help and you think you can't afford it, visit your doctor. Like, don't be afraid to make that first initial appointment and visit your doctor, and then ask them about counselling. Now, counselling is just like having a therapist. Now, before I get into counselling, just bear in mind it isn't for everyone. My first 6 weeks went really well. My second 6 weeks went not so well. And I only went for 2 weeks out of the 6 for my third time. It doesn't work for everyone, but maybe give it a chance, because, you know, how can you bash something that you haven't given a chance? You can't hate on something you haven't given a fair go of. But it's for a 6-week period, completely for free. You don't have to pay a penny. After that 6-week period is up, they will have a talk to you and ask if you want to take this help further, and then they will refer to you some classes that you can take. And I'm going to admit now, after my first 6 weeks, I took a class to help me stop drinking. I was a very heavy drinker when my whole meltdown happened. And if you are completely just unaware of what's happening right now, check these 2 videos here, I'll link them. They should be up on the screen right now, so click them and come back, and maybe this will make a bit more sense. So moving back onto it. If you're in England, make an appointment at the doctor and inquire about counselling. But one topic I do want to talk about is the cost. Now, because I have type 1 diabetes, prescription drugs are completely free to me. And I remember going to the counter one day and asking for my prescription drugs, and there was a gentleman behind me who was getting the same thing, and he had to pay. And that's not right. Mental health is something that you can't really help. It's the same with diabetes. If I had to pay for every single needle or insulin pen, I would be absolutely devastated. And I can't help that. And someone with a mental illness can't help that. So why should they have to pay for it? It really just doesn't make sense to me. But like I said, if you can't afford it, but you would like to speak to someone, one, like I mentioned, there's my Discord server, and two, if you do live in England, I'm not sure how counselling works in other parts of the world, but in England, from personal experience, I got 6 weeks of free counselling, and then I had a break for about 8 months, and then I had another 6 weeks completely for free again. And really what I would like to say is things need to change how we deal with this type of illness. We don't talk about it nearly enough. It's not serious, and it needs to be serious. 17 in 100 people on average in England have suicidal thoughts. Now that's 17 people too many. 3 in 100 people self-harm. That's 3 too many. Now I'm not asking for a perfect world because that would be unrealistic. But we need to be there for one another. There's very few instances where I would ask everyone to band together, but this is one of them. I feel as though depression and anxiety can be helped if people start actually doing something about it. And for the people who have been doing something about it, thank you. Seriously, thank you. For the people in the comments who have been insanely nice to not only me but members of this community, you are what's right in the world. And not only can I speak from experience, when you have anxiety, you play things over and over in your head. And if that thing is a positive thing, for example, if someone openly shared their experience in the comment section of this video or any other video, and they had people wishing them the best or hoping they do well, that's a positive thing that they're going to keep thinking about over and over again. And that is something you know they won't take for granted. So I guess the message of this video is, if you are suffering from depression, anxiety, or just any form of if you are just feeling bad about yourself, just remember, the strongest relationship you can have is with yourself. There's help out there if you look for it, but it's not going to come to you. You have to go and find it. As we're closing, I just want to say thank you again to all the people, especially in my previous 2 videos, who have been so supportive of not only me, but people who have reached out for help. There's members of my Discord server who I cherish with all my heart. They have welcomed people in and they have actively tried to help them. Also, I want to thank people who have donated to me and become a patron of mine. Not only does it help me continue to do this kind of thing, but it's also a very personal motivator of mine. I know it sounds rather pathetic and stuff to say money is motivating, but honestly, it might just be my personality, but knowing that I've produced content and that people are willing to spend their hard-earned money to support me is actually a very humbling experience, so that's basically the reason. So again, thank you to everyone who has sent money to me. I hope especially in England you feel a little bit more informed if you weren't before. And in the comment section, if you know of any free help, please feel free to share it. The comment might get flagged as spam if you put a link in, but I will go through each and every one of them and make sure it gets through so people can find the help. Now before I leave, I am going to be streaming on my Twitch channel this weekend. It's going to be a discussion about mental health, and if you have any questions for me personally that you would like the answer to, that would be the best place to ask them there. So this weekend I'm going to post a video when I go live, and if you are curious or if you want help or if you just want to talk or just have a good time, tune in and we'll have some fun. On that note guys, take care everyone, be good to one another and have a great day.